Well, it's a really good story actually. I was competing as a road cyclist at the time. I'd had a knee injury and it had been quite consistent for about 2 months. Seen probably half a dozen physiotherapists, and then I was referred off to a local massage therapist, and I had one treatment and that fixed my problem, and I literally fell in love with it there and then. It was like someone hit a light switch and I said, that is just amazing that you'll be able to treat me once, know exactly what tissues and make such a change, especially this had been such an issue for me for such a long time. So it was like a light switch. I just went bang, that's it, I want to be a massage therapist. That's incredible. So my journey started back in 1990, so it's almost close to 30 years now that I've been a therapist, and I knew almost from the get-go that the area that I wanted to get into was sports medicine. I wanted to work with athletes. I wanted them to be able to help them function better. I wanted to know how they moved and how, as a therapist, I could be more beneficial for them. So yeah, it was definitely always going to be sports medicine for me. But you know, I don't just treat the athletes. Obviously I treat everyone from all ranges of walks of life, but I do use what I use in that area and I apply it to obviously everyone from all walks. The hands-on techniques, look, I use a lot of passive release techniques and obviously the trigger point stuff as well, there's no doubt about it. But I think the main, if not the most important one, is my assessment skills. So yeah, using that and knowing where to apply what techniques to what region and what regions coexist together in terms of being beneficial to each other in proper function. So yeah, probably my assessment skills. Well, I've been involved in 4 Olympics, 3 of them with the Australian Olympic medical team. Well, it's overwhelming. It's obviously the pinnacle for any therapist that wants to work in sports massage or work with elite athletes. That's the pinnacle. It's the be-all and end-all of all the events that you want to be involved in. It is highly rewarding, and not only that, it's such a wonderful experience to work with so many different practitioners as well, not only just with the athletes and sharing their journeys, but also with obviously the physiotherapists and the doctors and the exercise physiologists and the strength and conditioning coaches and the coaches. Yeah, it's just one big massive party in terms of being able to explore what you can do as a therapist at, you know, probably the biggest sporting event there is. So yeah, it's overwhelming. And also to walk out with your team at the opening ceremony is just, yeah, it's just mind-blowing. Yeah, athletes that get regular soft tissue work by far give themselves they definitely give themselves much more benefit than those that don't. It all depends on the sport, mind you, as well, but you know, we don't say, and I try not to use this, that we prevent injuries, but we help provide an environment that helps injuries not actually develop. That's where I see my role, and regular soft tissue work definitely does that. There's no doubt about it. Of all the athletes that I work with on a regular basis, they definitely have the advantage. You can always stay on top, obviously, of load management. God forbid there starts to build in sort of little restrictions, the niggles turn into injuries. So you're always checking in on that. It's a very different environment. It's funny when you talk about therapy, because there's a lot of therapists out there saying, oh, you know, you shouldn't be treating your clients for more than 4 times. I'm like, well, if you've got athletes that push the boundaries, you need to be working with them all the time, because they're always pushing the boundaries of what they can be, or what they're capable of, and what their bodies are capable of. So yeah, they definitely have an advantage, definitely. So the learning experience for the therapist changed so much. I've been involved, teaching almost 20 years now, and I've seen, obviously you learn your undergraduates and you learn all your basic stuff. You go out in the clinic and go, wow, you know, this is really where the breeding ground is. And the one thing that we do miss in our industry is mentoring. So I think online online education fills that gap, there's no doubt about it. One of the great advantages, like we have a membership ourselves, and we have therapists from all over the world, and we all plug in and we all learn from each other. So there's a greater network, and that's all online, and it's online education. So you learn so much, not only from what I'm doing here in Australia, but you can learn what they're doing in the UK, what they're doing in the US, where they're doing in New Zealand. It's a global portal. So online education, it's just fabulous.